encourage, motivate, uplift, and empower women. We do thank you for joining us on tonight. Make sure you hit that share button, leave your comments, and ask your question. Also, follow us on all of our social media outlets. That is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We will be on shortly. Don't forget to share. Talk to you soon. Well, hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of To a Woman's Heart, where we uplift, motivate, encourage, and empower women. So tonight we have a panel of women for a very interesting topic. We're going to be talking about the expectations of women. And we as women have some expectations. Some expectations we have is what our mate's gonna look like, or how they gonna treat us, and expectations of our friends and our loved ones. So we have a lot of expectations. So we want you all to join in, ask your questions, leave your comments. Let's make this an interesting conversation. So we're gonna go around and introduce everybody. So I'm Renee. I'm Nanette. I'm Sheree. Denise Rose.
Oh, there she go.
Okay, come on, Denise, introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm Denise. I didn't know you were ready for me.
All right. So we're going to start this off about expectations in relationships. So when you meet somebody, what is your expectations of a man?
Child.
Well, I don't know if I can say yet. I'm still in the date mode. Although since COVID hit, I just became legal a few months ago. So I don't know yet because I ain't been on no dates yet. So,
but you got to have an idea what you expect from him.
Well, I do. I think for me, I expect him to come correct. I mean, I know what Sheree is saying. I've actually seen it happen to her several times. Where yo, Miss Lady, or whatever, how it comes something like that. That would be a turn off to me because first I'll be asking what the whoop you want, okay? Because you don't get no play like that. I'm just saying for me. So for me, you got to come correctly. Hi, how you doing? My name is Jesse or whatever. What's your, something like that. Just come in a nice manner, a decent manner for me.
Okay.
Yeah,
I agree. The initial interaction is what sets the tone. If they are coming in a respectful manner and not like a thirsty manner or disrespectful manner, period, right? I think that definitely sets the tone for where the relationship, like the possibilities, where the relationship,
Right.
can go. Pretty much off bat if this is somebody that you want to, waste your energy or your time on, depending on how that first interaction goes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for me, my expectation would be that they approach me in a respectful manner. And another expectation that I don't think a lot of people talk about like up front is to be real. Like, let me know what it is that you're looking for. If you're just looking for a friendship, somebody to hang out with, somebody to spend some extracurricular time with, or whatever that may be, let's talk about it up front. Like, cut out all the games.
Right.
Now
You looking for a bump buddy, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Tell me, hey, I'm just looking for friends with benefits, you know what I'm saying? Be honest, even though I have heard some men say, women don't like for men to be honest. And I'll speak for me personally, but I would prefer for you to be honest with me. Now, I'm not going to say that I won't potentially be upset by what you said to me, because that could very well happen. But I will respect you at the end of the day for your honesty, because I will never be able to come back to you and say, well, you didn't tell me that. Exactly. Now, we as women, it's probably going off a little left. Men do tell you one thing and then we interpret it as something different, which is something that we as women probably need to work on. I mean,
Right.
Who said? I think Maya Angelou say when somebody tells you who they are, what they want, you got to believe what they say, unless they show you something different. So,
No, sorry.
believe what they say.
No, I would agree definitely with you, Denise, that we as women have to definitely work on that. And it's funny because I was just thinking about this this morning or either yesterday to myself, that many times, we meet a man, we think automatically, he my every dream, but you don't even know the man yet.
Right.
You know nothing about him, what he's about. Maybe you're maybe far into it than he is, maybe after 2 or 3 dates. That's the way you feel, but he look at you maybe just like, okay, well, you just a cool chick or you just a friend, but you want more. You can't make somebody love you. I don't care what you say.
Right.
You can't make somebody love you. So I'm like you, Denise. If the man tells me, okay, this is what it is, then this is what it is.
But why you don't think that women want to believe what the man is telling them? If he say, I don't want to be in a relationship, I don't want to have a commitment, I don't want no children, why do you don't think women believe that?
I think, okay, that's a great point, because I do think that there are some men who are very honest and very upfront about what their intentions are and what they want. I think that some women think that they can change that.
Right.
Yeah,
that it will
agree
over time. Oh, maybe
right.
That's where he is right now, but he ain't really got a taste of me yet,
Right.
But
exactly
like what you said, Denise, we have to believe them and accept them for what it is that they say. They're being honest.
Right.
We have to decide whether or not we want to accept what it is that they're saying at face value without thinking that we can change them, because that's not always the case.
And if it leads to something different, if it leads to something more later on down the line, then that's fine. But we as women have to make a decision up front, because essentially we always hold the power. I don't care what they say. Okay, period.
Yeah, we do.
We hold the power. Okay. So at the end of the day, we can navigate how this ball game is gonna be played. So yeah, if you telling me we just gonna be friends, that I could date you or not date you. It's just that simple. Yeah, I could kick it with you. You come take me out to brunch and we can go to the movies together. But when I leave you, I leave you. And when I'm with you, I'm with you. And if he decides, okay, I want to take this a little bit further, you just better hope by that time when he decides that I'm available.
I completely agree with you, Denise. I completely agree.
That's the honest truth, because they do it all the time.
They do it all.
They want to have their cake and they want to be able to eat it too, but they want you to sit over here and be like, oh, okay, I'm just going to wait till you get yourself together. No, while you out there playing, guess what I'm going to be doing? Turning up right along with you. And you better hope we don't run into each other while we turning up together.
Right. I tend to think that for some women, I don't know if they realize that they're wasting a lot of time. If the man tells you that he's not interested, or he's being honest with you about whatever it is, the relationship, or what he wants the relationship, whether it's going to be commitment or whatever it is, you probably missing your blessing, or the guy the man's supposed to be in your life, because you wasting all your time on this person.
Yeah.
I don't know if they think about it like that. I mean,
yeah, but some women's expectations is, if he dressed nice, if he looks nice, he got to be a good guy. But good guys is not always packaged the way you think they should be.
Right.
Sometimes the better guy is the guy that's ratchet or got a thug life, even though we look at the thug person in a different aspect, but he might turn out to be the better guy, just like the church guy. People always think church men are good men, and that's not the case neither.
Not all the time. You got some time where it is. You could luck out, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
I'm just gonna say what my mom used to tell me. Like, first, everything that look good ain't good for you. That's the first thing. And secondly, you have to beware of the dressed up garbage cans. You can look good on the outside, smell good, clothes, haircut, but you full of trash on the inside. So I think we do make the mistake, the presentation, how they look and how they dress, drive the nice car. But you could be missing out on your, because it could be that guy who just ain't got there yet. Maybe you need to help clean him up a little bit. And that doesn't necessarily always take up the work. It just takes for somebody to love on them, pay them some attention, help them to feel good about themselves. And I think a lot of women think, I don't got time to be, fixing no man. He needs to come to me already prepared. Sometimes you got to put a little work in that thing if it's worth it. Take a look.
But if you think about it anyway, you have to teach him how to love you anyway. Because the way he loved maybe Stacy ain't the same way that you receive love. Maybe Stacy love language was acts of service and gifts, and mine is physical touch and quality time. So you got to teach him anyway how to love you anyway. So you might as well just add something else in there. Just bang some sweater.
Just a compliment, baby. You look good in that sweater.
Right.
What they gonna do? Go buy 5 more of the same.
Right. Right. You right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So here's something else that comes up in conversation. When a woman meets a man and he says that he's married, right?
Mm.
And the expectation that later on down the line, he tells her, I'm going to leave my wife, and she hold on to that expectation forever and a day, thinking that she is that woman. She got everything that's going to cause him to leave his happy household.
Well, his household ain't that happy if he got a side chick, number one. Let's start there. Number two, most men not gonna tell you up front they're married. Their MO is to get you in.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they tell you so far in that some women, a lot of women, unfortunately, they can't let go because now they're too invested.
Mm-hmm.
That's normally how it works. You have very few men who gonna come and say like, oh, let me tell you in the dough that I'm married. Now you do have some men who come into women and tell them, I'm married, I'm not leaving my wife, I'm not looking to leave my wife, this is what I'm looking to do. But again, it goes back to that mindset, well, I can change his mind, or I can change because I am who I am, I got what I got, I do what I do, whatever that is. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword to a certain degree.
Right.
Yeah, but don't you think it speaks to the volume of the woman?
True, with some women, you got some women that who say they prefer to be a side chick because they just want the benefits of being the side chick. They don't want the main chick. They don't want you coming home to them every night. All they want is they little time that you get them. He paying their bills and all of that, and they still get to go do what they want to do. You got some women who say that. You got other women who just lost in the world. They just don't know. They don't know whether they come to go.
A lot to like you said, the value of a woman. A lot of women are out here and they just don't necessarily know that they're worthy of something better, right? They just accept what it is that they're given, and to them it feels like love, and it feels they receive it in such a way where it feeds their soul and it feeds their spirit because they may not necessarily be used to anything different. I think that it's kind of sad, but it is definitely something that's happening. It happens. You see it all the time. We all have friends who have been in that situation. They prefer to be the side chick, maybe because deep inside they don't necessarily feel valued. They don't know their worth just yet.
Right.
But some women say, they okay with being a side chick. And after they get so far into it,
then they want to be
they want more.
Yeah, they want to be the main chick.
Right.
And it's kind of like Steve Harvey now. It's funny, they were talking about this one morning on the radio. It was comical, but they was right. There are rules to being a side chick. I don't know if the side chicks know. You're never gonna be the main chick. That's what you are. You're a side chick. You the side piece. You don't get the holidays and all of that kind of stuff. He got other obligations, and you're not one of them. You get the day before, the day after.
True, but the rules of the side chick game didn't change. Unfortunately, it's sad to say, there was a time where truly, indeed, there were rules to it, where the side chick really knew her place. Now, it's not almost glorified, as if it's almost a great position to have that, oh yeah, I'm his side chick. I got your man, I done had your man, blah, 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 whatever it is, whatever the case may be.
That's sad.
So, but now, unfortunately, it's glorified more and more now to become
do you think that's because to a certain degree they may hold that over the guy's head? Like, I can really mess up your whole entire life, so you gonna treat me good, treat me better. Because at the end of the day, he don't want his home where he got to go home and lay his head to be, put in jeopardy in that aspect. He's jeopardizing his home by going out, stepping out. But you got to be willing to spill all your tea. You pretty much you in the palm of her hand.
It's like blackmail.
It is. And so a lot of times you got some women who leverage that. Because
Yeah.
men, are very comfortable. They get very comfortable after a while. They telling you where they live. They telling you where their kids go to school. They telling you what
Right.
where to work.
Right.
So they put all their cards on the table, and now she's using that as leverage.
To keep getting what it is that she wants.
Exactly, to validate herself. So it's a vicious
Right.
cycle.
Vicious cycle.
It's a vicious cycle.
Well, I don't think I would want a man if I got to go through all them troubles of,
Maybe.
tracking down where you work at, where your kids go to school at, where your wife work, and what day she got off, and try to use that as leverage to keep a grasp on you. Then that's crazy to me.
But sometimes people like the drama of it all too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got some people who
They
just
do.
enjoy the drama. They don't know what it is to have a peaceful, kind,
Right.
loving, committed
Relationship.
relationship. Yeah, it's just the drama of it all. What do we
Yeah.
see on TV, on the reality shows? They hype up the drama of it all. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you are what you consume sometimes.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, but
Reality of it all.
yeah, I still can't get with that. And I think on the flip side, for some of these women, there's something wrong with them on the back end that caused them to accept some things and
There's
be
some brokenness.
there's
there.
some brokenness in that. You're just not
Oh,
going
absolutely.
you're just not going to be in this relationship. There's some insecurity, there's some lack of confidence. There is something going on within that woman that she feel like this is okay. And whatever he feeds me, I'm gonna get with you tomorrow, and then tomorrow come, he don't show up. Then he said, my dog was sick, my cat was sick. And you're like, oh, your dog was sick, your cat was sick. Well, maybe we can reschedule. Then the next reschedule, he do the same thing. So there's got to be something wrong within you that you accept something like that.
It goes back to what Tammy said. It's all about the worth. A lot of women don't feel I'm worthy of that.
Right.
I don't feel like I'm worthy enough to be loved, to love, and for somebody to love me.
Right.
They just don't. So you settle, essentially, is what you're doing. You settle for what you can get. You know what I'm saying? I'll take this little bit, even though I may want this much, but he's only offering me this. So this is better than nothing. So
I think too, it just stems from sometimes how women may have grown up and what they've been seeing, what they've seen and what they've been exposed to. Some women, like I said, are broken. They came up that way in their childhood, and they brought that to their adulthood. They never gotten any help for themselves or whatever have you. So they've just taken that brokenness from youth or childhood and brought it into the adulthood. And so some of them are searching for love. Some of them have daddy issues, and all of that plays a part in if you're looking for love or a man or whatever in your life, and they're looking for all the wrong things, and they're looking for a man to validate them. A man really can't validate you at all. You got to do that for yourself.
right.
That's just my firm belief.
Yeah.
Now, he might be able to put a couple of pieces in there, but he ain't gonna be able to put all the pieces in there. That's something you got to do for yourself. You got to have some self-love for yourself. But if nobody's ever poured into you how to love yourself, then you're looking to a man to love, to steal that for you. And unfortunately, a lot of men, I think, take advantage of that.
And that's spoken like a real woman, like a true, strong woman. So I guess the question then becomes, like, how is it that we can pour into our friends, our family members who may not have that same stance, who may not have been poured into in the way that, they should have been? Like, how is it that we can be more supportive as adults? Because I'll tell you firsthand, like, I have encountered, friendships and, peers who may have gone through some things and may have been in that situation where they feel as if they have to, like, accept whatever is given in this little bitty window when they have the worth of this. Like, they don't always see their worth. So you try to be supportive as a friend and say, hey, girl, you deserve better. Hey, let me introduce you to this. Or, hey, let me expose you to this. But how is it that you can continue to support somebody who doesn't necessarily want to grow in that way?
Well, I think that's a good question. I think, like you said, I think you just have to keep talking to them. I mean, obviously you want to pray for them, but you keep talking to them. But that person, to me, in my opinion, eventually somewhere along the line, have to have an open mind and say, hey, the light bulb has to go off. I call it my epiphany, my light bulb moment. I have to say to myself, okay, you know what? Tammy been telling me this for the last 5 years. Okay, enough is enough.
Yeah.
Denise,
It's funny that you mentioned that because I am currently in that situation now.
Mm.
I
okay.
currently am in a friendship with someone, and they are just like that. I feel like I pour more into them than they pour into me. Right. So I'm constantly overflowing of, steady saying, well, you don't deserve that. And you could do this and you can do that. And then they'll come back to me and say, well, back then, I was really a bad person. I really hurt some good people in my life, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. So even though I'm constantly reassuring this person, they're steady like, no, no, no. And for the longest time, I actually questioned, like, why was I even this person's friend? Because I just feel like friendship is like a two-way street, right? Like you give me a little something and I give you a little something, but in this friendship that I currently have, I do all the giving and they do all the taking. And so I'm just like, okay. So I really I remember I was telling my mom and she really encouraged me, like, just keep praying for her, just keep praying for her. And so I kind of came to the realization I'm still friends with the person and I still encourage them. I still support them, but maybe somebody else is going to come along. Maybe I'm just the planter. Maybe somebody else is, the waterer. I don't know. But I will say, like, even from a friend standpoint, it does become a lot because everything for them is a complaint. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you don't never have no good news. Like, the sun is shining. Be excited about that. And they're like, no, it's dark.
It's too bright.
It's dark. It's gonna be dark. You're just like, now I will say, I don't know if it was right or wrong, but I did have to separate myself from them for a period of time because it became draining for me. Yeah. I'm just like, this is too much on me. I can't, give me a few days. And then I'll wrap back around. Then I have like my pour tank full up filled again and I could, go back on. But anybody out there, if you have someone, in your relationship with someone like that, I do encourage you, like Tammy said, you just got to be supportive and keep encouraging them. And, and some things I have seen in a relationship, like I've told them something and then somebody else has come along and told them the exact same thing. And then they went and did it. And it's like, I told you that 1,000 times already. Who am I, a chopped liver?
Yeah.
But then now and then I'm starting to realize maybe I'm just a planter. I'm here to plant the seed. Somebody else is going to water the seed. You know what I'm saying? So be encouraged if you're out there. And
but sometimes, like you said previously, they'll listen to an outside person before they listen to the person that's close to them, because sometimes they feel like you just going along with them because of your friendship, your relationship, right? But somebody else that comes that they don't know, they don't have that type of relationship with, then they feel like, what they're saying is valid.
Right.
Yeah. Which is not a good thing, because I prefer to hear the person that's close to me to tell me something than have a stranger or somebody that's long distance to come along and tell me something. That don't make sense to me.
It doesn't, but then unfortunately, we as women, again, I relate it back to, depends on what we've been exposed to a lot of times, how we've grown up. Unfortunately, sometimes that person turns on, sometimes they turn on a friend as well as the family member. Oh, you trying to get my man, you just jealous of me and stuff like that. And it's nothing like that. I want the best for you. I want you to win. I want you to have love. I want you to be in a committed relationship. But, it's just like anything else. People don't see from the inside. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes takes somebody on the outside, whether it be you as the friend or you as a family member, who's trying to tell you, look, this guy, he not a good dude. He's just using you, or he got 3-4 other women on the side besides you, And a lot of times they just don't want to hear that because they want what they want, or they thinking the way they thinking.
Yeah.
And it's tough to get sometimes women to see that, or the woman to see that you know, this baby, this ain't going nowhere.
Or sometimes they don't want to see it.
And that's the other part. Sometimes they don't want to see
They
it.
just don't want to see
You
it.
end up
because-
looking like the bad person because
Right.
Right.
it's a very sticky situation when you are being supportive of a friend in a relationship because they gonna choose that dude every time. You would
Every
jeopardize the whole relationship. So I think it's a boundary there. Like you're able to say things as a supportive friend in such a way, but I will never tell a friend ever, girl, you need to leave him.
Right.
Never say that. If she was getting
Yeah.
beat, she knows she need to leave, right?
Right.
And provide options and be, you know,
Right.
as supportive as I can be. But the minute you tell them you need to leave, they're not gonna leave. And then you
Right,
look
because then they think you're sabotaging what they got going
Yeah.
on.
and then you end up looking like the bad friend who just
Right.
in the relationship. So I think you
Right.
have to be very strategic in how you offer support to friendships. In friendships, you got to be very strategic with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so here is
You jeopardize-
here is something that came up that we had this conversation a lot. Your expectations when you're going into a new relationship. So what I require may not be the things that Cherie would require, and may not be the things that Denise would require. So the conversation was, in some relationship, I want him to have all his ducks in a row, right? Now, the other person may be happy with you, just the guy just opened the door. That may be their thing for
Right.
them. So what do you all think about that?
I agree because Mama always raised me and Denise to know what you want and what your expectation is or what you desire may not be what another person desires. So I'm not gonna put off what I want on you because maybe you in a different part of your life. That's just like me saying, "Oh, what I want ain't Trinae want." Well, no, I'm 31. She's 55. So I mean, just and even different age categories. Just what I'm looking for right now. Of course, she's not looking for.
Right.
So you can't put. I'm not gonna say, "Well, oh, ain't you should want him because he." Well, that may not make a difference, though.
Right.
And vice versa. I'm not looking for what she would necessarily probably be looking for at her age versus where I'm at. People always say, "Oh, I need him to come with all of this." Don't ask somebody to come with all of this if you ain't got it yourself.
Man, you just said a word right there.
That's so annoying to me. You want a man to come in and do, but you have nothing. How does that make sense? How does that remotely make sense to you that he has to come in with everything and you come in with absolutely zero?
Yeah.
I agree. I think both parties need to bring something to the relationship.
I agree. I think that it's certain things that as your relationship progresses, you're going to, like you said, how your ducks in a row. Well, maybe we don't all know what our ducks are just yet, right?
Right.
So I don't expect for this package to come and it's everything that I want it to be because
Right.
I think that's unrealistic. Some things you have to learn and work through together and build on together. I want somebody to come that I can work with and we can be equally yoked by working at it together,
Right.
But you know that I'm a whole handful. So my expectation is
But at least you know that.
I do. I'm very honest about that and very upfront about that because I know that I can be a whole handful. I require a lot. Like the whole traditional, untraditional man versus woman roles in the household. I'm not going to be cooking every day because I work a full-time job also, right?
Period. Right.
I'm not going to be the happy homemaker all the time. So I need you to be able to cook. I need you to be able to do laundry. So part of my expectations is like, in addition to you supporting the household financially, can you support the household, physically, emotionally, mentally? Because sometimes I just want to check out and do nothing. I need you to be able to be on the court. So those are things that I expect. Like it goes way beyond you opening the door. Now those things are natural and he does those things too. But as long as you can really support me and have my back in those ways, taking care of the kids and taking care of the house and taking care of the bills, we're good.
Right. I agree with that.
So don't you think? Go ahead.
Don't I think what?
Don't you think that women, when they start a relationship, they should put them expectations on the table?
I do, but I think that a lot of women get caught up in, oh, let me cook for him and let me do this for him, which is fine. That's absolutely no problem. But then when you start doing that, that becomes the expectation. And then the moment you don't do it, it's an issue. You know?
Right.
So I'll set the expectations up front. Hey, I cook. I definitely can cook for you, but it's not going to be a hot meal every day. You know,
Right.
because again, you want me to do that, I can do that, but then I'm gonna have to leave this job, sir, because my job requires a lot of my time, and I can't say that every day I'm gonna feel like do a full 5-course meal.
Yeah, right, exactly, a 7-course meal, because it's just unrealistic. Well, to me, to a degree, nowadays expect a 7-course meal every day. Maybe when my mother was alive, and she didn't work she did work, but it wasn't like a 9-to-5 job, put it like that. So she did cook pretty much every day. But now when you have to work sometimes 8 to 12 hours a day, and then you have children to take care of as well, and with everything we've got going on now with COVID and everything, I think now it's just a little unrealistic. The wife needs or the girl or whoever needs a little bit more help in the home now. But I think when Renee's talking about what you expect in a relationship, well, first of all, hopefully you're not doing it as soon as you meet the man. I would hope, but I don't know. Maybe some women are. I can't just meet you yesterday and now I want to cook for you today. I don't know you like that. First, I'll be inviting you to my home, but hopefully there'd be a little way in before they want to try to start doing this. But I do agree, you do, as you get a little further into the relationship. Now, yes, I need to start telling you what my expectations are, because if I'm interested in getting married, I'm dating for a purpose. If that's not what you interested in, then what we talking about?
Right.
Because we on 2 different pages. You want to Netflix and chill. I don't got time for that. So, I'm just let you push on over and find you somebody who want Netflix and chill, and me and you could be friends, and that's it. So
okay, then that brings me to a question, because we're in 2020, right? Y'all say dating and stuff is different, right? So the expectations that we have as women, if I have sex with you on the first date, that it's going to take it further than where it's at.
Wait a minute, say that what?
You know how some women think that, if I give it up to you, that I can hold you or make this relationship. And that's not, I've heard that from women.
That's what they think.
Oh, because
we got crazy women out here think all kinds of stuff.
Think that they
You know what? I'm going to say this. I do know people who have had sex with the person that they met on the first date, and they lasted for years. Like, I do know people like that. I think that that's very rare. I don't think that you get that a lot of times. I mean, most times if he smashed on the first date, I don't know, because I'm not a guy. I just heard, like, in talking with Brian and our friends or whatever, a lot of times they think, oh, if she let me smash on the first date, then she's, this is something that she does regularly. You know what I'm saying? So now you got that whole negative thing, that whole vibe going. I personally wouldn't do it, because you could have a clap for all I know. I don't know you. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that's important. Yeah. But for some women, but again, that goes back to, if we out and maybe we both set the standard, he's telling you he just looking for a one-night stand. Now, that's the trick. You don't believe what he said, but you go along with what he said. You let him smash, and now he's gone, and you in your feelings. Right. Listening to Jasmine Sullivan and Drake. That's your fault at the end of the day, because he told you what he was going to do.
Right.
Yeah. And you decided to be like, oh, no, like Tammy said, he ain't got a piece of this CANDY, and it's just the bomb. You know what I'm saying? It's like, baby, you just a trophy on the shelf, I guess. But
people really thought, I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, because it happens. That's, the real world. It does happen. But I guess my perception or perspective would be, if I do this with him, just meeting him, what is he going to think of me? Is he going to think that this is something that this is the standard? This is what I do with everybody? In my mind, I would think that it would turn a dude off. Like, it turns them on for the moment, but it's not anybody that they want to be in, in a serious relationship with, because have you done this before? Do you do this all the time? So I'm surprised to hear that women actually think, oh, if I give it, the faster I give it to you, the more serious you'll take this relationship.
Yeah,
and if it's trash, it's a double whammy. So
they have crazy thought process. Some women think they can use all kinds of things to hold a man. They think they can have babies and hold a relationship, and babies don't hold a relationship.
No,
definitely don't.
A man can only be kept if he wants to be.
Being kept, exactly.
Something that doesn't want to be kept. If he want to be a kept man, guess what he'll do? He'll do the things to make sure that he's kept.
Exactly.
And if you don't want to be a kept man, guess what he'll do? He'll do things to ensure that he's not a kept man.
Exactly.
It's really that simple, because men do what they want to do, essentially, right? And they're gonna, if they really love you and they really want to be with you, they're gonna do whatever it is they have to do to be with you, because you are who they want. If you know what I'm saying, if you ain't what they want and they just want somebody to chill with, Netflix and chill, pull up on every now and then that's what it is.
This is very true. I think it's important, like, for those of us who have girls, raising girls, it's always a point to me to tell my girls in such a way, without it being, blowing their head up in such a way, but you are the prize. You are the prize.
Exactly.
You are the prize, right? It doesn't mean that your head's so, up in the clouds and your nose so big and you just all that.
Right.
You ain't all that, because I'll humble them very quickly too. But they have to know their worth. They are the prize. And if something is worthy of having you, it's going to take, they're going to put in some work to do it. It's not a task. So I think that it's important to teach our girls that, so that they can grow up with that same mentality, like knowing their worth. And if a man is really into you and you are worth it to that man, to change and to be right and to work hard and to do whatever it is that he needs to do to get you and to keep you, he's going to do just that. He's going to just that.
And I think it helps when dads step up and show their daughters, the finer things in life. So when that man comes along and buy her stuff, and she be like, no, you ain't got to worry about that. You got to come back, because my daddy already did that. So you got to step your game up.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. I just told Denise that about my granddaughter, her daughter. God forbid, when she's old enough to date, the young man who try to date her, I hope he ready, because
he has to be ready. Okay.
He has to be ready, because
she has some expectations.
Okay.
You got
serious expectations. Okay. So
because her daddy don't pour no shorts, period. And he tell her all the time, if he can't give you what I give you times 20, it's a no.
It definitely starts with the dads too. They're the biggest influence in the lives from the male perspective. I can remember when Kiva was probably about 7 or 8, and Ken would always open the door for her. He'd open the door for me. He'd always open the door for her. And as she got older and started to date, probably when she was like 16 or 17, I remember she came home and she said, I ain't calling him no more. I'm like, why? He seemed like he was nice. He ain't opened the door for me. I'm like, oh, Lord. I didn't really connect the two as it was happening until that moment when she was older and started to date. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she really did pay attention to that. So these kids and their dads, the relationships that they have with their dads, the male figure, the male figure in their life at the time, it speaks volumes to how they end up, what they look for as an adult. It speaks volumes.
And they won't settle.
They won't settle.
They won't settle. They won't settle for less than what they're worth. And that's a good thing. And I think that what needs to happen in more households.
Absolutely.
And they'll probably take out the titles of thoughtism and all that other kind of stuff. If we teach our girls how to value some things and not just go for anything. If I buy you a burger, then you got to give me a steak. We're not going to do a burger. You step it up.
Right.
No, I can buy my own self a burger.
Right.
buy myself a
Right.
steak.
Well, I could buy my own self a steak as
Yeah.
well. But what I'm saying is, you have to step it up.
And I understand what she's saying because we've talked about this before amongst us, the ladies in the family. You know, sometimes I know Denise and Sheree especially has experienced it. Sometimes they, well, not Denise in a long time, but more so Sheree.
I could say
Uh,
Denise Smith.
They've met guys who thought, oh, well, you bougie because you want to go to, let's just say, the Cheesecake Factory. Okay, the Cheesecake Factory really not that expensive. I didn't say
Really
go to
not.
let's go to
The
Morris, but
Cheesecake Factory is now a glorified Fridays. That's
But-
all it is.
but they think if they've never been off the block, you know what I'm saying? They never really been any place because that's how they grew up. Then they think going to IHOP that's real big, you know.
Not
Or like
better than Cheesecake Factory by no stretch of the imagination. Anybody out there? Cheesecake Factory is delicious.
oh, it is. I'm just
No.
saying, you know.
As an
Period.
example, right?
And for an example, you know, their dad and I used to go out to dinner. We used to take them to different places. Now, not as many places as obviously they go now, but at least we kind of started them on the way. So now they go more places than I've even been. So, but that was something because our parents didn't take us. We didn't go out to dinner back then.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't do that.
Set the tone. You have to set the tone, though.
Right.
Right. So that was something that I wanted to do different for my children. So that's what we did for them. I don't know if they remember when they were kids, I used to try to tell them, you know, you could be anything you want to be. You know, you cute. Well, probably not cute. I probably said beautiful. You probably too little to remember that. But at any rate, I wanted. So when a guy came up, they just wouldn't fall for anything. You know,
Yeah.
for the first guy who told them, oh, you look good, you look cute, or whatever, what have you, so that they would know. And
What else
obviously,
you
we must have did good in that department because.
What else you got? I'm cute. Thank you.
It starts at home, and I feel
It
like
does.
if the parents are not in a place because for whatever reason they didn't get it growing up and they don't know. I think we know where we lack, right? We know our strengths, we know our areas of opportunities. So if it's something that I'm not necessarily strong in, maybe I'm not strong in showing affection. I am, but you're not strong in showing affection and hugging and kissing and loving on your kids. I think it's important to maybe have a circle or your community that is pour into them and feed into them in that way. Because if you don't, they're going to grow up being cold and not necessarily knowing what affection looks like, the right kind of affection, right? They're going to want the wrong type of attention. So I definitely think that it starts at home. I think we have to be very conscious and very strategic of every move that we make when we have kids, because they definitely pay attention, even when you think that they not. You can send them as all you want to, but you better believe they listening. They can walk into a room and see when something ain't right. So we have to be very conscious of what it is that we're doing, you know, in front of our kids and around our kids, because they soak it all up and then it helps to shape who it is that they become.
Yes, exactly. All right, ladies. Well, this is a 6-part series. The expectations of a woman, and it's a lot with this being a woman.
It is,
you know, and I hope that while we're doing this series that we take a look at ourselves and find some things that we may need to change for ourselves, heal some areas that's broken, or whatever it may be that you need to change, or even figure out your dating life. What do you expect out of dating? You know, don't settle for anything. Get your confidence back. You know, lift your self-esteem. So I hope these conversations that we're having will help those women that's listening and will enlighten you. And I thank y'all for joining in. It was a great conversation. Awesome. And don't forget, everybody, to follow us on social media. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Share with other women. You know, we building, bonding, and believing in sisterhood. And we're going to thank Tammy for joining in with us tonight as well on the ladies' conversation. And what I saw your post, you got something going on Friday. You want to share?
It's actually at 9:00 p.m. I will be going live in the Sassy Thrifters page, and I am going to be decluttering and selling some of my most precious pre-loved items. So check it if you're on the Sassy Thrifters page. Join it. Check me out. I'll be live at 9.
Classy Thrifters.
Sassy.
Sassy.
Oh, okay. Sassy. Okay.
Sassy Thrifters. It's a thrifting page, and they host different live events where you can go ahead and sell some of your most precious pre-loved items.
Okay. Well, look,
Cool.
ladies, there go another opportunity to declutter some things.
I'm going to come over, Tammy, and take a quick gander.
Yes, I mean I don't have that much, just a little something.
Right? Well, that's
That's how
beautiful.
to take a quick gander.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Well, I thank everybody for joining in. Stay tuned for next week, Tuesdays at 7:30. We are highlighting women in business. And next Tuesday, we have a young lady who is she sells paparazzi jewelry, but she's also starting a youth non-for-profit. So we'll get some information next week, Tuesday at 7:30, and then Wednesday at 7:30 we are back here again for the expectations of a woman. Have your questions ready next week, ladies. We want to have a great conversation. Let's dialogue about this. Sometimes we just keep things to ourselves, so we have a platform where you can discuss some things. So let's not suffer in silence. Let's speak up and talk about it. All right. All right. Thank y'all.
Bye guys.
Bye. Hello, everybody. Well, thank you. We have completed another episode of To a Woman's Heart, where we encourage, uplift, motivate, and empower women. We hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. We thank you for your participation. Always remember to comment and ask your questions. Also, don't forget to follow us on our social media outlet. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and please do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just a little note, Facebook group is private, so if you would like to join the group, make sure you join before the live stream. And ladies, let us share with other ladies. We want to build a community of women. That's what we want to do. We're working on becoming our better, best selves. So again, we do thank you for tuning in tonight, and we do this live stream every Wednesday at 7:30, and we're also adding another night, which will be Tuesday at 7:30. We are highlighting women in business. All right, so won't you continue to join us, and don't forget to share. Have a good one.
Renee.